Hello, everyone. Thanks for watching. I'm Sarah, and this is Luba, and she's kind enough to give me some of her time today to kind of share a little bit about her experience working with me and her experience during the yoga teacher training program. So, hi, Luba. How are you?
Hi, Sarah. Hi, everybody. I'm
So,
so privileged to talk today. Very excited.
well, thank you so much for doing this for me. I really appreciate it. And I think students who might be considering the program will appreciate it as well because it helps them to gain a little bit of insight into what their experience might be like. So, can we kind of start at the beginning and share your story as to how you even came about considering a yoga teacher training program? Where were you in your journey when you first started?
Okay, so I think my story was a little unusual and different from story of majority of yoga teachers. As I understand, majority of yoga teachers came to teaching after many years of doing yoga themselves, enjoying it, mastering it, and finally, whether through career change or addition to their career, willing to teach other people what they learn and master themselves. My story was different. I actually was quite happy with my career. I worked and I still work as a pediatrician in a very busy private practice. And I was not what considered yoga type. I did not have a flexible, young, strong body. I did not have the quick mind of traditional yoga teachers. All I wanted to do, I just wanted comfort and health enhancement techniques for myself. I found Sarah's studio, which was, of course, quite a few years ago in pre-COVID times. It was actual studio, very cozy, quiet studio. And I just came because I saw advertisement for restorative yoga session. And when I first came to the first lesson, I was completely taken. It was my first yoga experience to begin with. And I was very skeptical because what I saw, how yoga looked like, I thought it was not for me, but the word restorative kind of bought me because it was good. I felt good about looking for restorative techniques. And on the first class, Sarah completely captivated me because as all the students were sitting at the mats, on the mats, Sarah looked across the room and she said, your name is Luba, right? Luba, you're uncomfortable sitting like that. Let's try this. So she gave me first bolster to sit on, then the chair to sit on, and the class completely made complete sense to me how each body is different and how yoga can be very therapeutic and how yoga can be very helpful to anybody, everybody. And I was completely captivated. So I started just like doing easy yoga poses. I felt that I stopped having back pains. I felt that I don't need to change mattress on my bed, which I was planning to do. I felt that my mood improved and I was willing to bring it to other people, my patients, first of all, my family, and everybody else I knew. So, and the only way to do that was to take yoga teacher training because there was no other way to completely like go deep into the science and mastery of yoga. That's how it all started.
And how did you feel as you were going through the program? What was your biggest takeaway? What was happening as you were going through? How did you feel through the journey? Any hesitations or any difficulties and challenges you encountered, as well as just the positive things that might have happened?
So, and as I said before, for me, probably I faced more challenges that a lot of people did because I never had very strong athletic body. But it was the blessing in disguise because I could see how the like pure physical aspect of yoga and yoga therapy would be applied to people with all walks of life, all ages, starting from baby yoga. Actually, that's something I am going to get my next certification in. Prenatal yoga, toddler yoga, kids yoga, and yoga for old people and people with all the physical limitations. So the most important surprise and take home lesson for me was actually what presents the essence of yoga. It's the binding between body, mind, and spirit. There is no other discipline which binds all these three things, all these three components of each person together. You can go to gym and build strong body. You can read a lot of books and do a lot of therapy and self-studying, and you can do a lot of learning. And unless you bind everything together, nothing will work. So for me, the most important thing was and still is that I think without like any like beautiful words that actually yoga is the only existing discipline of binding all these three components together. And if you take out one, the equation just won't work.
Yeah. And there is other paths. There's Qigong, there's different methodologies that the problem is nowadays they have been kind of watered down and we only get pieces of it. And even yoga, if you go to a gym or you go to, a local place in the library or whatever, you kind of just get pieces of it. And I think that, the way that you describe it and how it's this cohesive approach, I think that's kind of part of the beauty of the yoga teacher training program, right? That it allows you to look at it holistically. It's not just going to a yoga class to feel good, but it's getting a deep understanding of how life works, really, not just yoga, how you work, how we work.
Yes, actually, for me, it was not a question. I did not feel any other way to do it because just doing some like separate yoga classes without deep understanding why we do it and how it affects us, it's not the same. So actually, the point which I want to bring across, some people think that yoga teacher training is, like I said, for people who want to change their career or who work on it. To me, it was just like the only way to get the feet deep into philosophy, into physical aspects, and into the spiritual aspect of everyday living. It's not just something you learn, like you learn some history paragraph and you know everything about that. It's not just the learning, it's actually learning how to live every day by the laws of yoga, which are like the laws of life, which we neglect very often.
I
So
don't think that it's necessarily we neglect them. We don't know them.
yes. First of all, we don't know them. We don't know them, and it's not something you can just learn. It's something you practice every day. Sarah, actually, I liked your uh, parable and your comparison, which I have to mention today. I compare everyday life and practice with learning how to bike. You learn how to bike, you can have the best model of bicycle in the world, you can be world champion, But if you don't pedal, you fall. It's the same thing. You just don't learn. You learn every day and you practice every day. And only then it works. So what I want to, like, the point I want to bring across, that it's not only for people who want to teach. They might end up not like even teaching for a while, but it's the only way to learn for themselves.
So it helps you to become your own teacher first.
Yes, that's exactly, yes.
Yes. Okay, so let me ask you this. Talking about everyday practice, how did taking the yoga teacher training affect your daily life at home and at work? Kind of like big picture or small picture, whatever you want to share.
Let's start with small picture because it's easier, just the details of just the details of everyday life. Being a physician, I always knew about the benefits of physical exercise. And you know how, like, sometimes when you get out of bed very early in the morning, your body is stiff, your body kind of like wants just like hot cup of coffee, and your body doesn't want really to exercise. And guess what? Small detail about yoga. Yoga teaching actually prescribe bathing first and then starting doing yoga poses. And this little piece made such a big difference. So you roll out of bed, you go into the warm steam shower, you bathe yourself, and you come out of the shower. Your body is already supple, open, and you roll out your mat, and yoga poses feel so good, so natural. And that's actually something I never knew, I never learned before. Our traditional way of doing things was like you first exercise, you kind of force your stiff body into the movements which you don't even want to do, and then you take shower to wash off sweat. Not the other way around. When you start exercising in the morning, clean, supple, with warm, open body and mind, it feels absolutely different. The most important thing of the physical aspect of yoga is binding your movements with breathing, which also we don't learn as we just like go through gym and like doing our movements. So that was another thing which completely captivated me. And I noticed the simple things when I do binding my movements with breathing and just doing breathing exercises by itself. They're called pranayama. I stopped having my sinus problems. I started using any nasal drops. I forgot what it means to suffer from the sinus problem. So that was like the big deal for me. So when I start morning, I already start on such a good note. My breath is open, my body is open, I feel strong, I'm ready to face whatever challenge is expected at work, at the house. I am more patient, I am more open. So it's completely like, it's a great feeling.
So it's a physical practice, right? But because all the five bodies are connected, mental body, physical body, energy body, emotional body, spiritual body, even though the physical practice is what's tangible and you can do on a regular basis in a schedule, it changes your level of consciousness and therefore it changes how you relate to everything in your life.
Completely, yes, absolutely. Just talking about that, even if you're ready, we all, let's not be hypocrites. We all have problems and challenges in everyday life, and we're ready even when we're brave and we're ready to face our problems, and we want to feel the feelings, and we want to feel the pain and challenges. We're not trying to mask them, we're not trying to sweep the feelings under the rug, we're trying to face it. But if we don't have this strong open posture, strong open heart, and strong open body, we're not able to do that. So many people willing and sincerely willing to face the challenges, but if there is no strength to face the challenges, they cannot be faced. So spirit benefits tremendously through having strong body, and the body benefits tremendously from having strong spirit. So it's the mutual.
So you're right, because people think yoga creates strength and flexibility and focus. But what is that for? Well, because it also creates mental strength and mental flexibility and mental focus and emotional strength and emotional flexibility and energetic strength and energetic flexibility, right? And so thank you. Thank you for sharing. Let me ask you this. What would you say to someone who is considering this program? What was your biggest hesitation before you started, and what did you gain from the experience that kind of made it worth it, or you realized the hesitation was nothing to worry about, or someone who's on the fence and trying to figure out, is this right for me? What would you say to them?
So, first of all, I want to say that I was witnessing how people went through different yoga teacher training, and I have to tell that this particular one is great because, Sarah, you really take your students very gently, very slow. You start from each student, you meet them at the point they are now. It's not like cooker cutter approach. So I want to encourage people to try. There is nothing bad in trying. I think once you try, you could see that every step is so individual, so catered to each student at the point where the student is. And I think I am the best example because I never ever thought in my life that I would be a yoga teacher at some point. As I said, because of my age, because of like my body, not very flexible, not flexible at all, actually. And guess what? Even I was able to go through the training, not just like go through the training, but enjoying it tremendously. And teaching so many friends who are very grateful now. So I think the most important thing about like this particular program, it's very individual approach. It's the first thing, and very high level. It's like academy of yoga teacher training. It's so many more things out of the just like regular banal experience. It's so deep and so joyful and so structured. So if I wish like I could provide even more details, but I can find like these words very individual, very structured, and very, very deep and based on strong scientific basis, which appealed to me as a physician. I found so many things about anatomy which I did not know, and they did not teach us in medical school about anatomy, physiology, Ayurvedic medicine. Um, that I think it was like truly like academy, medical school of yoga.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing your experience. Thank you guys for watching. Please feel free to contact me with any questions. Thank you so much, Luba. Namaste.
Namaste.